There's this quiet, really frustrating mystery that I think about all the time. It is that feeling when you read the exact same paragraph, like 3 times at 2 in the afternoon, and you absorb literally 0 words. But then, and this is the crazy part, you can have these massive, clear, brilliant ideas totally naturally while you were just standing in the shower.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It is so real. It honestly feels like a glitch in how we are built, you know?
Right. A total glitch.
Because we tend to treat our brains like they are just computer hard drives. We expect this instant, perfect access to all our files at all times. Like you press the power button,
Yeah.
and you just get full performance until you turn it off for the night.
I mean, that is how society defines success, right? Constant
Yeah.
motion. But then you actually sit down to write a hard email or solve a tough problem at work, and your brain just flat out says no. It refuses.
It totally locks up, and we end up blaming ourselves.
Exactly. We think it is a mindset flaw. So I really wanted to unpack this today. I was noticing these patterns, and I realized there are these hidden clocks running inside our brains. We are basically fighting our own nature every single day.
We really are. The modern 9-to-5 workday feels like asking someone to hold their breath for 8 hours straight.
Wow. Yes. That is exactly what it feels like.
You can force focus for a little while, sure, but eventually your body says that you have to exhale or you're going to pass out. It is just basic human nature. The whole idea of constant, unbroken productivity just does not match how we are built.
Because modern work culture treats every hour of the day like it is exactly the same.
Right. It assumes your brain has the same power to handle complex things at 9 in the morning as it does at 4 in the afternoon. And that is just not true. Before we can even figure out how to plan our days better, we have to look at the actual gears running in the background.
So it is not just one internal clock, right?
Huh.
From what I have noticed, we actually have 2 different rhythms happening at the exact same time.
Yeah, 2 overlapping waves. The first one is the one most people kind of know about. It is the 24-hour master cycle. It manages your sleep, your wake times, your body heat, and your hormones.
So that is the wave that builds up in the morning and dips later.
Exactly. For most of us, alertness naturally rises through the morning, takes a very real built-in dip in the early afternoon, goes back up just a bit in the late afternoon, and then drops off at night when you get sleepy.
Which totally explains why literally everyone gets that 2 in the afternoon slump. It's not just me being bad at my job or eating a bad lunch.
No, it is a structural feature of being human. Think of it like a low tide in your brain. No matter how much you slept the night before, that tide is going out.
Okay, so that is the big daily wave. But then there is the second rhythm, which I find even more fascinating. It runs quietly in the background all day long.
Yes, the focus wave. Instead of taking 24 hours, this one cycles roughly every 90 minutes.
Every 90 minutes. Like clockwork.
Basically, yeah. Your brain moves through a phase of rising focus, hits a sharp peak of clarity, and then drops into a natural trough where your attention simply runs out of fuel. It is an endless wave, repeating over and over all day.
Wait, I want to pause right there. So when my drive fully evaporates after an hour and a half of looking at a hard spreadsheet, that is not just me being lazy.
Not at all.
Like, I always thought I just lacked discipline compared to other people, but you were saying that is an actual body timer going off.
It is deeply physical. It goes way beyond just a timer. Your brain is physically different in that moment than it was an hour ago.
How so?
Well, during 90 minutes of deep focus, your brain is burning through its local supply of fuel and oxygen very fast. It is building up waste. When you hit that 90-minute mark, your brain literally forces you into a lower energy state so it can clear out that waste and refuel.
So trying to push through that dip is like, I do not know, ignoring the low battery warning on your phone and just getting mad when the screen goes dark.
That is the perfect way to look at it. The hardware is actively taking a pause to reset itself. And when we ignore that low battery warning, the fallout is huge. Mistakes at work, accidents, memory slips, they do not happen at random times.
Let me guess. They spike right in the middle of those dips.
Exactly. They spike in that mid-afternoon slump and again in the very early hours, like 3 or 4 in the morning. Even if people sleep well during the day, you cannot just invert your body clock on command.
Wow. So our attention just breaks apart after 90 minutes, no matter how motivated we feel.
Right. You cannot willpower your way out of biology.
Okay, so if this 90-minute machine is the same for all of us, why is it that my coworker is practically doing backflips and solving massive problems at 5 in the morning, and I can barely speak a full sentence until 10?
Oh, that is the classic office struggle.
Right. Like, if the gears are the same for everyone, why is the timing so vastly different? It brings up so much comparison culture.
It really does. And it all comes down to your personal timing profile. Think of the big ways as the hardware, but your personal profile is the software installed on it.
Like a fingerprint.
Exactly like a fingerprint. There are generally four main types. You have the morning types, the midday peakers, the evening types, and then a flexible middle group.
Okay, so the morning types just hit the ground running.
Yeah, their body heat rises early, and they do their sharpest, best thinking before 10 in the morning. Midday types have a slower start, but hit peak clarity around noon.
And the evening types, because they seem to get the most grief from society.
Oh, they carry so much unfair guilt. Evening types often wake up feeling groggy for hours, but their actual peak performance hits late in the day, or even late into the night.
So when we see all these people on social media, the gurus bragging about their perfect 5 in the morning habits, telling us that waking up early is the only way to be great,
Yeah,
they might just be lucky.
they are completely genetically lucky. They just drew the morning lark winning ticket. The whole hustle culture narrative that waking up early makes you a better person is a myth.
That is huge because the parental expectations, the boss expectations, everyone acts like if you are not up at dawn, you are just weak.
And it is so harmful. Because if you are a natural evening type and you force yourself into a 5 in the morning wake up just to copy some rich guy's routine, you are fighting your own brain chemicals.
You are basically working while you are sedated.
Exactly. Your body is still making sleep hormones, your core temp is low, you will burn out, and your actual work quality will drop way below what it would be if you just waited until 4 in the afternoon.
That has to be such a massive relief for people to hear. The amount of imposter feeling that evening types walk around with, thinking they are lazy just because they need sleep in the morning, it is tragic.
It really is a tragedy because forcing your hardest work into your worst time window is just a terrible use of your energy.
Okay, so having a natural baseline makes sense, but I know for a fact I'm making it worse. We're probably actively messing up these rhythms on a daily basis, right?
Oh, daily habits are the ultimate saboteurs.
Like, how are we smearing these clear peaks and dips?
Well, the things we eat, how we sleep, our phones, they literally flatten our peak windows into a fuzzy brain fog. Let us start with food. The classic heavy lunch.
Oh, the post-pasta coma, I know it well. Why does eating a big bowl of noodles at noon make me feel like I need to hide under my desk and sleep by 2?
It's simply a matter of where your energy goes.
Yeah.
When you eat a heavy, carb-filled meal, your rest and digest system kicks in. Blood is physically pulled away from your brain and sent to your stomach.
Because my brain is just starving for flow.
Right. And the spike in blood sugar actually blocks the brain chemicals that keep you awake. So you are chemically putting yourself to sleep right as your natural afternoon dip is already starting.
So I am taking the natural low tide and just digging a massive hole in it.
Exactly. Digging the ditch twice as deep.
What about sleep? I mean, obviously being tired makes you tired. But how does bad sleep actually mess with the 90-minute focus waves?
There is this chemical that builds up in your brain as you burn energy all day. It creates sleep pressure. When you sleep deeply, your brain washes it all away.
Like taking out the trash.
Perfect analogy. But if your sleep is broken up tossing and turning, looking at your phone, your brain fails to clear it all out. That leftover pressure acts like a dimmer switch on your mind the next day.
So the peaks never really get high.
Right. Your best hour and your worst hour just blur together into one long gray slog.
You know, here is something I always wondered about. I noticed this total paradox where if I drink coffee the second I wake up, I feel great for 10 minutes, but then I always have a huge crash later. Why is that morning cup a bad idea?
That is the natural startup sequence.
Yeah.
When you wake up, your body naturally releases a sharp spike of cortisol. It raises your heart rate, gets your blood pumping, and wakes you up.
It is like the car engine turning over on its own.
Right. But if you flood your system with caffeine within the first 20 minutes of waking up, you signal to your body that it does not need to make its own wake-up chemicals.
Wait, really? It just stops the natural process?
Yes, you suppress your own internal alarm clock. So when the coffee wears off, you do not have that natural base to fall back on. Finding your peak focus later in the morning becomes almost impossible.
Okay, that makes so much sense. But we have to talk about phones. Because if I spend 20 minutes doom scrolling on social media, my ability to do a hard task afterward is completely gone. Is there a physical reason for that?
Absolutely. It is all about draining your dopamine tank. Dopamine is not just about feeling good. It is the core chemical that drives your motivation to do hard things.
And phones just hijack that.
Totally. Social media gives you constant random hits of novelty. It spikes your dopamine over and over again very fast.
So I am basically draining the gas tank before I even pull out of the driveway to go to work.
That is exactly what is happening. By the time you sit down to do deep work, your dopamine level has crashed below normal. Your brain lacks the fuel to handle the friction of a hard task.
Even if I am in my best time window of the day.
Even then, the actual length of your focus window physically shrinks because you trained your brain to crave a quick fix instead of lasting focus.
Man, protecting these focus windows sounds way more urgent now than just someone saying, put your phone away. So how does a regular person actually map out their day and build real habits around this?
The very first step is just watching yourself. You cannot fix what you have not tracked. For 5 to 7 days, just track your focus every 2 hours on a simple scale of 1 to 5.
Before making any big life changes.
Yes, change nothing yet. Just observe.
So if I feel like a total 2 at 10 in the morning, I do not judge myself. I just write it down.
Exactly. Remove the guilt. Most people guess their own peak windows completely wrong, usually by an hour or two. But once you have a week of notes, clear patterns always show up. You will find 2 main windows of peak clarity.
And when we find them, I hear it is super important to lock in our wake time rather than stressing over our bedtime and getting sunlight early. Why is the morning light so vital?
Your inner master clock relies on outside cues to lock into the 24-hour day. Sunlight hitting your eyes in the morning is the strongest signal you can possibly give it.
It just syncs everything up.
It violently shuts off leftover sleep hormones and locks your daily rhythm into place.
Yeah.
A strict wake time with instant sunlight stabilizes your entire day way better than trying to force a strict bedtime.
Okay, let us talk about how this looks in the real world. I was talking to a friend who is a marketing manager, let us call her Sarah. She always put her hardest strategy meetings at 9 in the morning just because she thought that is what serious people do.
Right, the classic corporate mindset.
But she always felt scattered and stressed, so she tracked her focus and realized her actual peaks were at 11 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. She moved those tough meetings to 11, and suddenly she was driving the conversation. She had brilliant ideas.
I love that.
She did not become a smarter person overnight. She just showed up to the arena when she was fully armed.
Exactly. She matched the demand of the work to the natural supply of her brain.
I know a teacher who did the same thing. He always forced himself to do creative lesson planning early in the morning when he was super groggy. He left simple paper grading for the afternoon. He felt like he was failing at his job.
Because the friction was so high.
Right. But once he flipped it, doing the mindless grading in the morning while he was warming up, and saving his peak for creative planning, his teaching completely transformed.
It just removes the heavy lifting.
But let me push back on this for a second. This sounds amazing if you own a business or control your own schedule. But what if I am an evening type? I am a total zombie at 9 in the morning, and my boss says I have to be in a meeting right then. I have zero power to change that.
That is the harsh reality for most people. But control is not all or nothing. Even small shifts give you a massive return. If you cannot move the boss's meeting, look at the margins of your day.
Like the tiny tasks.
Yes. Can you take a 15-minute solo task that requires deep thought and move it to your actual peak, say at 7 in the evening?
So it is about not wasting the good hours on the dumb stuff.
Exactly. Task batching. Take all your low-stakes, basic office work routine emails, filing forms, and purposefully save them for your natural dips.
So when I am dragging at 2:30, I should not chug coffee and try to write a huge proposal.
Never. That is exactly when you should just reply to easy emails, or honestly, just step away. Build a real transition. Going outside for 5 minutes between those 90-minute focus waves clears the brain waste and restores your mind way better than staring at a screen.
Okay, so we know how to find the peaks, and we know how to protect them. But I noticed something really strange about how high performers actually use these windows, and it really threw me off at first.
Oh, this is the most counterintuitive part of all.
Right. People like top musicians or writers, they often plan their hardest, most complex work, not at the very top of their energy peak, but just before their natural dip begins.
Yes, right at the edge.
Which makes absolutely zero sense to me. If I need my sharpest brain for a hard task, why would I start it right before my brain is about to shut off?
It sounds totally backward until you look at the trap of perfect work. When you start a very complex task right at the absolute peak of your energy, that energy feels endless.
Yeah, you feel like you can do anything.
And for smart people, endless energy quickly turns into a loop of overthinking.
Ah, because you have the energy to just keep tweaking and tweaking forever.
Yes, you rewrite the exact same sentence 10 times
Yeah.
because you have the spare brain power to do it. You get lost in the weeds.
You just spin your wheels.
Right. But by starting the work just before the natural dip begins, you still have the sharp focus to do the job, but you also know a crash is coming fast.
So the body's fatigue literally acts as a hard deadline.
Precisely. The coming drop in energy creates a built-in certain stopping point. It forces you to just finish the task and step away. It defeats delaying things and overthinking in one single move.
That is brilliant.
Because trying to do your most fragile, overthought work during your lowest energy window is awful. The task feels too big to handle, which makes you anxious, which makes you avoid it, which brings guilt.
It is a vicious cycle.
But by using your own fatigue as a tool, you break that cycle completely.
That is such a clever way to trick your own mind. And it really reframes how we look at getting older too, doesn't it? Like in your 20s, the comparison culture is so brutal, you assume everyone else just has some magic discipline that you lack.
When really they might just naturally peak during standard office hours.
Exactly. And for people over 40, knowing that your body clock changes over time just proves that your brain is still highly active as long as you respect its new schedule.
Absolutely. Our timing shifts as we age, usually moving earlier. So checking in on your rhythm every few years is not just helpful, it is vital to staying sharp.
So, bringing this all together, the core takeaway here is that the guilt we feel, that imposter feeling of being lazy when we lose focus, is almost always misplaced. True growth is not about waking up in the dark and forcing your will through a brick wall of nature.
No, it is about harmony.
It is about knowing the mechanics of your own brain and putting the heavy lifting into the specific window your brain is genuinely built to handle it.
It requires a shift from managing your time to managing your energy, which leaves us with a final thought to ponder today.
I love a good final thought.
If human nature strictly runs on these 90-minute waves, and we know for sure that focus drops off a cliff after that, what would happen if a modern company entirely dropped the standard 8-hour workday?
Oh, that would change everything.
What if, instead of demanding constant presence, they only measured people by what they produce across 2 highly protected 90-minute sprints?
Like just 3 hours of real work.
Exactly. Would we find out that working half the hours actually doubles the world's real innovation?
I honestly think we would. It totally changes how you see your own worth during the day.
These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Geeks Mindset has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same thoughtful way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you again, to share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life. And it helps Geeks Mindset reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the join button right next to the Geeks Mindset logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Mindset Support Circle. Your support helps honest mindset awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Geeks Mindset moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.